Hi, Kat here for Lightwave Digital. In this video, we're going to talk about how to create a zipper effect using a simple morph, a gradient, a null to control that morph, and then the effect itself being driven through nodal displacement. In order to make this work, we need a couple of things. Obviously, we need a model and we need a image map to help control this zipper being opened. So let's deal with the image map first. For this, I'm just going to jump over to my favorite compositing program, Fusion. And I've got a background tool here. And I need a square background rather than something that's 16 by 9 or HD resolution or Ultra HD. So we'll just go 1024 by 1024 because it needs to be square. And we've got it in the viewer now. And we need to make this a gradient. So I'm going to go to the color and I'm going to go to vertical, and we're going to make our top as a white color. So it's just a straight gradient. And then I can right click and save this image. We can save it as zipper or zipper effect 2 because I don't want to lose this one that I was working with originally. So I'll just rename this something else. All right, so now that I've got that handled, I can minimize Fusion or close it. I don't need it anymore. And we're going to jump over to Modeler and take a closer look at what this object is and how it's built. So we'll just go over to Modeler. Go and grab that object, and we'll see that I've got this zipper. However you decide to build something like this is up to you. And it doesn't have to be a zipper. It can be two planes that are stuck together or something similar to that. You can use this type of effect for breaking up ground, or maybe ripping something in half, or even lips opening from the side or something of that nature. But we need to basically have a morph in here. So let's go and take a look at what's going on with the morph. And we'll go and see this morph, and we'll see that these two zipper objects that are in one layer have been bent using like the bend tool or something similar. So now that morph is there, I can go and jump back over to Lightwave layout, and I've got my object. Let's talk a little bit about this zipper image. Let me go and replace this with my zipper effect. It looks very similar, but it's got a little bit of a deeper gradient. And you'll notice that I've got a slight deformation on the zipper now because I've got the nodal displacement working in the background. But I want to talk about how the color space of this actually makes a big difference. You can see here that the gradient, if it's properly exposed and Lightwave is linear, it's a little bit more affectable or affecting that object. So let's take a look at how this is set up. Let's go to the actual object properties, and you'll see that I've got in our deformation stack, bones, subdivision, nodal displacement. If I turn this off, we'll see that the effect is no longer working. But let's take a look at what that nodal displacement node workflow is. Popping open the node editor, first thing we need to do is add a item info. To do so, just go to item info. You can search for this. Okay, so same tool, I'm just reloading it again so I can show you how this works. So we're going to go and double click to make sure that we've got our control object, which is just a null. And we've got position pumped into position. We've got our zipper effect. And we have some coordinates here that are set. This just basically puts it onto planar for the null. So imagine it as kind of like a 2D plane that's going through the effect. And we've got world coordinates, and we've got just some scale to make sure that it's aligned properly. And then the next little trick here is we have the morph map amount. We need to be set to relative because this is a relative morph that was created. And we've got it dialed back from 100% to 40%. Let's try this 50% and see what we get. This gradient then plugs from its color into the scale of a scale node, and the morph itself goes from position to vector and then into the displacement node. Now we can see that that zipper effect is working as we move that null through the scene. Very straightforward way of doing this. It's fast, it's quick, and it doesn't really involve a lot of complexities. Now you can add additional morph maps and then mix them. I don't have an additional morph map in here, but we can make a copy of this. And let's say we had another morph that was in here, say morph 2 or morph 3 or whatever it might be. And these morphs that are in the stack are for another object that is no longer present in the scene. And then use a function called add under vector. And you can mix those two morphs together in an additive way, and you would get the result there. So if you wanted to do various directions or possibly another morph that curled these up a little bit more, and you'll see right now because we've got two morphs added of the same morph, you can see that it's much wider on its opening. So if I disconnected these, just take this, move it off to the side, let's just bypass that, go straight in. You'll see that the morph in the background is no longer as drastic as it was before. Of course, we could also just increase that morph map value 100%, get the same effect. But if you want to mix additional morphs in there, you can, and that's a very easy way to do it by adding an additional morph map. Select the morph map that you want to add to, and then pump it into the scale node that feeds into the displacement. Very powerful, not a very complicated setup, and it's essentially as fast as my computer will take it, displaces it in real time effectively. You can play this back, no problems. All right, thanks for watching.